Hello and welcome, Sudoku friends, to an evil puzzle by websudoku.com. I transferred the grid over to the sudokuexchange.com interface because I simply find it better. The evil puzzles by websudoku.com can be a hit or a miss in terms of complexity. Let's see how this one goes. As usual, I'll talk to myself while I'm studying the grid. The two here and the two here will eventually force a two in one of these two cells. And a six will have to go in one of these two cells, of course. Now the three here will force a three into one of these two cells. And well, that's about all I can say about those threes. But oh, there is a one. There's a one here and here blocking these cells, right? And these two ones are blocking these cells. So we found the first digit and it will go here. I also see that the 3 and the 6 here need to go in this cell and in this cell because there are no other free cells for 3s and 6s in the center box 5. And that leaves a 1 and a 2 for these two cells, doesn't it? I often find that the evil grids by websudoku.com makes finding 6s, 2s, and 9s very easy. I'm wondering if it's going to be the case today. I'm not sure it will be, but it's a finding that is often proving to be true. While I'm contemplating that, the 8 here and the 8 here puts an 8 in this cell because this cell is blocked by the 8 down here in this row. So this is an 8. Now one of these two cells, of course, must be an 8. This 4 and this 4 will put a 4 in one of these two cells, and therefore a 4 will have to go in one of these two cells over here to the right. And the other digit that will go over here is going to be a 2, because a 2 can't go here due to the 2 up here in row 2. So these two cells have to be a 2 and a 4, and since we have a 2 already in this column, the 4 will now need to go here and the 2 here. See, that was easy. That leaves only one empty cell for the row, and that's going to be a 6. I'm beginning to see the outline of a pattern. There's a 6, 7 here, and there's a 6, 7 here, and there's a 7 here. Well, that gives a 7 here, of course. But still, there's a 6, 7 here, so let's say, no, can't do much about that. Not yet, anyway. But what I can say is that the 6 here will force a 6 into this cell or this cell, and therefore into this cell or this cell. You may wonder why I am pointing out this very obvious. It's just so that when I need a 6 the next time, I've already discussed this with myself, as it were, and I don't have to analyze it one more time. And it helps me familiarize myself with a grid. Because after I stare at a grid for about 10 or 15 minutes or even longer, all of these digits become like old friends and I know exactly where they are. This 5 forces a 5 into one of these two cells. This puzzle does make it a little difficult to find the next digit, or maybe my brain is just not working today. I'm looking at this row here. It's kind of interesting. I still need to find a 3, 5, 6, 7, and a 9. There's a 3, 7, and a 6 already blocking this cell, so this has got to be a 5 or a 9. And I'm finding that these two cells have to be a 6 and a 7. Let me explain why I think that is true. First of all, this cannot be a 6. These two cells cannot be 6s because a 6 will have to go here or here. See the 6 up here? That puts a 6 in one of these two cells, and therefore a 6 will have to go in one of these two cells and therefore cannot go in this cell or in this cell. And this cell cannot be a 6 because of the 6 already present in the column. So either this is a 6 or this is a 6. And the same is true for a 7. A 7, of course, can't go in any of these two cells because of the 7 present in the box. A 7 can't go here because of the 7 already present in the column. So this is a 7 or a 6, and this is a 7 or a 6. Let's see if that leads us to something interesting. And it does at least give me a 3, because now these two cannot be 3s. This cannot be 3 because of the 3 here, and this cannot be 3 because of the 3 in the column. So the 3 goes here, and that gives me a 3 for this cell. That might be interesting because now these two cells have to be a 5 and a 6. 5 and a 6. And this cell here cannot be a 5 because the 5 here forces a 5 into one of these two cells, and therefore this cell cannot be a 5. Ergo, it's a 6, and this is a 5. I like this kind of logic. And remember how we said that this cell here had to be a 5 or a 9? Now, the 5 here and the 5 here and the 5 ghost 5 here puts a 5 exactly here. Therefore, it cannot be a 9. So these two being 6 and 7, that makes this cell here a 9. And now we have a 9 here and a 9 here, and we have this 9 putting a 9 in this cell. Now it becomes clear that these two cells must be a 3 and a 6. We have a 3 and a 6 in this row, and they block these 3 cells, so these two must be a 3 and a 6. This cell here cannot be a 3 because we already have a 3 present in the row, so this is now a 6, and this is a 3, and remember this one? That's right, it's now a 7. These 3 cells now have to be a 5, 7, and a 9, and I can't distribute them at this time, so let's look at the rest of the row. That would be 1, 2, 4, and an 8 to complete the row. The 2 must go here or here. We discussed that already. This cannot be a 1, 4. So the 4 will have to go over here somewhere. And doesn't seem immediately clear to me where to put what. So I will keep pondering that for a few minutes, I think. Of course, this cell must be a 1 or an 8. And the 6 and the 9 here will have to find homes among these 3 cells. But we can do something about column 3, can't we? For column 3, we need to find a 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. There's a 7 here and an 8, 9 here, making this a 2 or a 4. Yes, of course, because there's a 2 here and there's a 2 here. So this cell also can be a 2. So what about the 7, 8, 9? Well, an 8 will have to go in one of these two cells because of these two 8s. The 9, well, 9 could go here, and it could also go here. So, and this cell here cannot be a 1, 2, 3. It could be a 4, but not a 5, 6, 7, 9. I'm just not seeing it at this moment. Oh, but yes, I am. Well, I'm seeing something. This has got to be a 4 or an 8, and so does this. It cannot be a 1 or a 2 or a 3. It could be a 4, but not a 5, 6, 7, or a 9. Yes, this is a 4 and an 8, and this is a 4 and an 8. So in effect now, we have 6 givens in row 2. So we just need to find a 3, 5, and a 6 to complete this row. And we have a 6 already here that can see this cell. And the 6 here, of course, blocks this cell. So this cell now has got to be a 6. So we now need to find the 3 and the 5. And the 3 here prevents the 3 from going here. Therefore, it's got to be a 5, and the 3 must go here. The 3 here, and the 3 here puts a 3 here, and the other digit that we were missing diagonally here was a 6, like so. And that puts a 6 in this cell, doesn't it? Now I think we are cooking. And with this newly found 5, and the 5 here blocking these cells, and the 5 down here blocking this cell, we now have a 5 for row 3, and it must go here. A 1, 2, and a 7 to complete this column. There's a 7 in this block already, so the 7 surely must go here. This is now a 1 and a 2, except the 2 here puts a 2 up here, and the 1 therefore must go here. And let's see, I feel that we are so close. Yes, of course, the 6 here blocks this cell, and the 6 here blocks this cell. So this is now a 6. And now we need to find a 8 and a 9 for these cells here. And, well, I'd rather look at the bottom row and say that a 9 can't go here because of the 9 here. So the 9 will go here, and the 8 therefore must go here. And now these two cells will have to be a 1 and a 4. This cell, of course, is the last cell in the block. It's got to be an 8. This cell must be a 5 because we have a 5 already present in this column, and that makes this cell a 1. And now we finally got the 1, 2, like so. And because we have the 1 here, this cell now must be a 1, and the 4 goes here. That puts a 4 in this cell. These two now have to be a 2 and an 8. And these two will have to be an 8 and a 4, making these two a 2 and a 9. These two have to be a 4 and a 2. And here we can finally do something because we have a 2 already that blocks this cell. So this is a 4 and this is a 2. And now this 4 and this 4 puts a 4 in this cell here because of the 4 here. And that in turn puts a 4 up here. This last digit was supposed to be an 8, and it will go here, 3, 5, and a 7 to complete these 3 cells. There's a 5 here and a 3 here. That makes this a 7. And the 7 here blocks these cells. Therefore, the 7 must go here for row 2. And that puts a 7 here in row 7, like so. These are now a 5 and a 9. Except this cannot be a 5 due to the 5 in the top row. So this is a 9 and this is a 5. Now the 9 here and here, of course, forces a 9 into the top row right here. And that gives us a 9 for this cell as well. This must now be a 2, making this a 2 and this an 8. And now this must be an 8. And this therefore is a 3, making this a 3, and this has got to be a 5. I rather like this puzzle because it was manageable, but I had to put on my thinking hat a couple of times, and that's always nice. I hope that you enjoyed it as well, and that you will be back for more soon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.